Hey everybody, welcome to another video. So for those of you who are regular viewers of the channel, you may notice that I, number one, have a little kitty on my lap. Hello. But number two, you may notice I'm not in my normal workshop, I'm in my living room. And the reason for that is because I'm going to be working on this 4K 50-inch Samsung TV. I travelled 250 miles to pick this up. So 125 miles there, 125 miles back. I had to travel to Ely in Cambridgeshire. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But I travelled 125 miles each way to pick this up. And the reason for that is because I was basically gifted it for free. Or I would have been if I didn't decide, you know what, I can't really take it for free. And I ended up getting the PayPal details off the seller. And I sent them £50 through friends and family once I got home. The backstory with this is that it's been to a couple of repair shops who couldn't fix it, and it's also the seller got in touch with Samsung to try and get them to do a warranty repair on it, and they basically kept on fobbing them off saying we can't get the part, we can't get to you, we've got no technicians in your area. And they got fed up of it and they ended up buying a new one. So basically, I put this on eBay. I got in touch with them and I said, look, what would you take as I buy it now? And they offered to gift it to me for free. So yeah, ultimately I didn't take it for free. Obviously, it wouldn't sit right with me if I took it for free because, you know, they obviously paid a lot of money for this when it first came out. It's a Samsung 4K UHD. Hello, kitty. I've got another kitty here, look. Oh, shut up, Mona. This one moans, but then sits on you anyway. Yeah, I know. Nasty people not subscribing. Yeah. Tell them to subscribe. Yeah, he said subscribe. Anyway, so, yeah, I haven't done any TVs on the channel, and please don't send them me because I don't have the room for them. The only reason I'm working on this is because, number one, I do want to do some different content, and number two, I do need a TV because I haven't got one in my bedroom. Well, needs a strong word, isn't it? It's a first world problem. But while I was moving house a few months ago, one of the TVs got broken. It was my fault. I took it down off the wall and I put it in the car and I didn't protect it. So when I got back to the car with some more stuff, I put a box down and it cracked the corner of the screen. So what I did was I took my 50-inch TV out of my bedroom, put that in the living room where I am now, and then we don't have one in the bedroom. But anyway, like I said, I donated £50 for this, and I've also bought some spare parts for it, just in case I can't figure out the issue. If I can figure out the issue and fix it without using any spare parts, then, you know, I'll just resell the parts. But so far, I'm in for £50. I've bought a couple of motherboards, a power supply board and a main board for £65, and I've also spent around about £40 or £50 on fuel. I don't know because I'd filled my tank up a few days ago, so I don't know exactly how much fuel I used. It's going to be about £40 to £50. So I'm in for around about £165 roughly, which isn't a bad price for a Samsung 50-inch 4K TV, and it does come with two remotes as well. So it comes with the original Samsung remote, and then it comes with this smart remote thing. Not really sure, never had one of these TVs, so I don't know, but both remotes work. So it does come with both of those. It didn't come with the box and it didn't come with the stand, but that doesn't matter because my plan was to mount the TV on the wall anyway. So I've bought a wall mount kit, which I'm obviously not going to include in the price, but I've bought a wall mount kit which I can use to put the TV on the wall. But I have, like I said, got some spare boards, so either way we should realistically have a working TV at the end of this video, even if it does mean just swapping some boards out. So with that being said, if you are new to the channel and you like this type of content, I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and turn on the bell notifications, that way you don't miss any future videos. If you do want to support me, there'll be some links in the video description, check those out, and there's going to be a few ways that you can do so. And while you're checking out the video description, make sure to check out today's sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay are currently celebrating their 9th anniversary, and they are giving all of my viewers a exclusive discount code. So if you spend $40 or more at PCBWay, then you can get $10 off. The discount code will be in the description and the top pin comment as well. But PCBWay are probably one of the best in the business for pretty much all of your PCB fabrication, CNC 3D printing, and pretty much everything you need from start to finish on your electronics projects. I've used them myself and they are a long-term sponsor of this channel, and as you can see, they even send me free gifts every now and again. So I really do appreciate it. PCBWay, thank you very much for sponsoring the video. Let's get to fixing this thing, shall we? So let me just show you what's going on with this before I actually get it apart. So if I turn the TV on, it will turn on, and as you can see, it appears to work fine, and you know, it'll load up and stuff. It's absolutely fine. It's going to come up that no Wi-Fi is connected. Obviously I haven't actually connected it to my Wi-Fi, but I did try and connect it to my Wi-Fi earlier and it crashed before I got a chance to actually do so. And basically it just went into a power cycle. These cats are really, really distracting. It's so awkward to make a video when you've got little creatures running around. But I love them. I love them. This one's going next week. The black and white one's staying, but this one's going, sadly. She's a cute little thing. Anyway, let's try and connect it to the interwebs. So as you can see, nothing connected, no internet settings. And if I try and pick up my Wi-Fi, so you can see everything seems to be working fine. You know, it's picking up Wi-Fi absolutely fine, no issues there. And I'm going to log in to my Wi-Fi. Okay, so that's done. So there's my password. And now it's connected to the internet. So it is connecting to the internet now. But I've got a feeling in about a minute's time it's going to crash.
What we want you to do is take the
I am going to turn the volume down. Don't want to get demonetized. Got to get the money back for this somehow. Okay, so that's working. And didn't even touch it. But it has just done exactly what was in the description. So it's just rebooted and now it's in a power cycle. So I've got a few theories here, well, a couple of theories. One theory is, okay, that showed the logo that time, but one theory is going to be one of the ribbons has gone bad, because I have done a little bit of research on this model, and although it wasn't this specific model, very similar models with bigger screens seem to have issues with the Wi-Fi, with the ribbons. Wi-Fi? What am I thinking? They seem to have issues with the ribbon cables, and apparently that's a big common issue on these things. Another thing that it could be is the power supply, because what seems to be happening here is every time the TV's been turned on for a little while, it starts to crash more and more frequent, and that could be an indication that something's getting hot, something's overheating, maybe a capacitor or something's gone bad. If that's the case, then we might be able to fix the power supply. If it's not that, from my experience, and I did used to work on TVs quite a lot when I worked in a electronics repair shop, but in my experience, when it's not the power supply, it's normally something to do with the RAM or the CPU, the SoC, whatever you want to call it. That wouldn't be fixable. Or it would, but it's not worth sitting there and pulling all of the chips off and then pulling them off of my working board just to basically guess and try and fix it. At that point, I'm probably better off just replacing the entire board. But obviously I want to try and fix the board, because if I can, I want to try and reduce costs. And the way that I do that is by reselling those boards that I've already bought. They are here, which means I can get this fixed tonight, but I'd rather not use those boards if I can help it. Enough rambling. That's obviously doing its thing with the rebooting. Hello, Kitty. I've got to move you now. I'm sorry. But that's obviously doing its thing with the reboots and stuff, but I'm going to get it onto my coffee table, and I'm going to take this apart. Obviously, it's very big. I can't put this on my bench, but when I do take the boards out, I can put the boards on the bench. So I can reset up the cameras, I can put the boards on the bench, and we can see if we can fault find and figure it out based on what we find, or rather what board we find. So what the plan is, I'm going to swap these boards out. I'm going to put a new power supply in it first. If that don't fix it, then I'm going to put a new main board in it. If that don't fix it, I'll put new ribbons in it. If that don't fix it, then I guess we just have to, yeah, wing it from there. But yeah, let's get it apart. Enough waffling. I need to move because this cat is very, very distracting in all her cuteness. But let's get it over here onto the coffee table and we'll take it apart. There's another kitty here behind the TV. Oi, that's not a sleeping bag. They're very loving, these two things are. Okay, so the first thing I need to do then is to just get these screws out of here. And this is a screwless model, so I think I've just got to pry up the sides, I think. Hopefully I can do this without damaging the TV. So I'm going to be honest here and just say that I just don't have the tools for this. I don't have pry tools strong enough for it, so I'm going to use some butter knives. Don't try this at home. And this, by the way, is probably another reason why you should not trust me with your TV, because I don't have the tools for it. Okay, if you could see how much I was sweating right now, just because there's a big risk of damaging the screen doing this. They don't make these easy to get into. There's a very high chance that you're going to break screens. And I am going to actually test this screen now. I am going to be very careful. Little disclaimer here. This has been recently plugged in. And this board here is going to be charged. It's going to have power running through it still, even though it's unplugged, because the capacitors, especially this one here, is going to be, well, it's a 400 volt capacitor and it's going to stay charged for a fairly long time. Whether or not there's a bleed resistor in this, I don't know. I haven't really looked over the other board, but even if there's a bleed resistor, it might still take some time to actually, you know, discharge the capacitors and make it safe to work on. So be very, very careful when working on these things. So I am going to test this and just make sure I haven't broken the screen. I will do that off camera. I'm not going to reset up the cameras and stuff like that. And yeah, I can confirm the screen is absolutely fine, so we're all good there. Like I said, I've already bought a few spare parts here. So one of the parts that I've bought is the power supply. So I've got another power supply here, which is supposedly working. It's been pulled from a unit with a broken screen. So I've got one of those, as you can see there. I also have a apparently working main board from the same seller. So it all comes with one lot. So I've got a working main board there, or supposedly working. And then I've also got some ribbon cables as well. So this here is the sensor. Or as far as I know, that's the sensor with the Samsung logo on it and stuff like that. And then I've also got a bag with some ribbon cables and another plastic piece. Don't need the plastic pieces. I don't need this sensor, or at least I shouldn't need that sensor. But the first thing I'm going to try, because it's the easiest, is going to be this ribbon cable here, because there are apparently issues with those ribbon cables. So that's the first thing I'm going to try. So I'm going to just unplug this. Wouldn't it be funny if it was literally just a ribbon cable? There we go, there's a new ribbon. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get these tested again then with that replacement ribbon. So I guess then I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes and see if it reboots. And damn it, we've got a line here. That wasn't there when I just tested that a minute ago. I'm sure that wasn't there before. I'm going to be very careful here where I put my hand. I'm not touching the power board at all. I'm nowhere near it. And it's just rebooting itself again now as well. One thing I'm noticing is this remote is flickering when it turns itself off. I'm wondering if that's that ribbon I've just put in. I didn't see that line before, which is very weird. I didn't see it when I just tested it either. I really hope I haven't broken this panel, because the panel costs more than the TV. You can't replace them. You can, but it's not worth it. I am going to try something, because this keeps on flickering. So let me try just removing that battery. Right, it's not that remote. Let's just see if it's this remote. Just to rule it out. Yeah, I guess I can't use this TV here because it's got a line on it. This will have to go in the bedroom. Unless that's something to do with the main board or the ribbon. I didn't notice that before at all. It is still rebooting though, which is obviously means that it's not fixed the issue with that ribbon cable. And it's not the remotes as well. So, okay, let's get it back onto the table. So, let's try swapping something else out then. I'm not going to change that ribbon again now. Oh, for now. I'm just going to leave that for now. And what I'm going to do, yeah, let's leave that for now, actually. Let's just try swapping this power supply out. So this is the part where I do need to give a little bit of a warning and just say be incredibly careful because it's not safe at all to mess with power supplies. And I don't recommend it in the slightest. One thing I did just do when I was off camera, I didn't want to show you because I don't want to be responsible for anyone getting hurt. But one thing I did do was just feel these heat sinks. And this one's a little bit warm compared to this one. I don't know if that's normal. That one's ice cold. That one's fairly warm. Don't know if that's normal or not. That's why I'm going to go for the power supply first though. Alright, so notice I'm holding this by the edges. I'm not touching the actual PCB because like I said, it's still going to have some charge in it. Nice and easy to actually swap out because there's no screws, but yeah. Okay, let's get it back onto the sofa. I would test it here, but I don't have anything to hold it up with. There's no stand, and also, well, I haven't got a cable long enough. All right, so it's back on with the other power supply in, so at least I know that power supply works. So now I guess I've just got to wait again and just, oh, okay, well. Or is that just a signal issue? That line. I really don't know what to think about that line. I do not recall seeing it before. I mean, it's usable anyway, in the bedroom. It's usable with that line there. You know, if it's nothing to do with the main board or anything. Nope, still rebooting. Yeah, okay. It's not the power supply. All right, so next I guess I'm going to try swapping out the main board. Actually, that needs to come off so I can get to these cables. So I'm not going to just swap the parts out and be done with it unless it's this main board. If this main board is the cause, which it's looking like it might be, but if this main board is the cause, then I'll inspect it under the microscope, but whether I'm actually going to be able to do anything with it is very doubtful. Right, that's got it. I'm going to get this replacement board. There we go. Okay, I'll leave that little plastic piece out for now. So it's not going to have my Wi-Fi details now because it's a new board. Yeah, that black line is still there. It's not the main board what's causing that. That's actual damage. And I don't think that was there before. Yeah, I think I might have damaged this screen. I mean, it's usable the way it is, but I think I've damaged the screen, which is going to absolutely suck. But, you know, there's not really a lot I can do there, and that is still rebooting. How? How is it still rebooting? I've changed it all. That don't make a lot of sense. If I've changed everything, how is it still rebooting? So the only thing I haven't changed is this sensor. That's it, apart from the LCD. I'll change that sensor cable. So I'm just going to move these boards out of the way for a minute. I'm not going to bring it back over to the table. It's kind of pointless. Let's see if it powers on, or let's see if it stays on, should I say, without the sensor in. If it does, then I'll bring it back over to the desk. It does look like it is. Is it really that sensor cable? I mean, it looks like it's staying on. Is it, isn't it? It isn't. Oh. It's got to be the screen then, hasn't it? Maybe that line was there before. I think I've just wasted a 250 mile journey and £50 and £65. Oh wow, that sucks. There's nothing else. I mean, I can plug that cable in, you know, I can plug the new one in, but there's really nothing else that I can change. These don't have T-con boards. The only other thing I can think is the backlight. That's it. That's all I can think is the backlight. I've plugged the new sensor in, but it's not looking good. So if it still doesn't work now, then it's got to be the screen or the backlight. And yeah, I'm not willing to take the screen off because I will break it. And it's pointless. Wow. How is that possible? Let me just try that old ribbon. The big ribbon, the first one that I changed. Alright, old ribbon is in. So I can't see it being the backlight because the backlight doesn't seem to have any issues. I've still got a dark spot here. No, that's still got that line. So I think I'll have to review the footage, but very unlikely that that line was there to start with. I would have seen it. And I think it's the panel what's faulty, to be honest. I think it's this main LCD. And it's not worth fixing it. And I've just wasted a lot of money, £165 essentially. I mean, I can resell the boards. If I sell them separately, I'll probably pull the majority of my money back. I've got 4 boards which appear to be working fine. So I think I can sell the boards. But that's annoying. Oh, that's really annoying. Okay, so I was just about to finish this video out and then I did stumble upon a video. So I'm obviously going to cut this out and edit it so as this part's in, but I did stumble upon a video and that last ribbon that I just changed, apparently it is an issue with the panel, but apparently one of these pins on this ribbon here shorts on this main board, or one of these main boards. So the short-term fix for it, or well, I don't know if it's short or long-term, but one of the fixes for it is apparently to basically just cover this ribbon cable here with some tape and prevent it from making a contact with the pins, to prevent it from detecting the short, which would kind of make sense. So I think I'm going to just try the tape method, I guess, and just cover up one of these pins. I don't really want to do that, but you know, I'll try it, and hey, if it gets it to work, I mean, it's only for me, so it doesn't really matter too much. So the only tape I've got is this packaging tape, which I use for packaging parcels when I'm selling stuff on my online store. But yeah, I mean, it's a bodge, I get it, I do understand, but if it at least gets it to work, you know, so as I can watch a movie or whatever, then great. Then where's the harm, right? So I'm just going to cut a little thin piece of this tape, and I'll take a picture of this because obviously I haven't got my overhead cam, my microscope cam or anything like that, so I'll take a picture of it just to show what I do. I'm just going to try and get a thinner piece. So apparently if we just cover up this trace, one of the, it's a fairly thick trace, so I'm assuming it's a power rail and not a data line. But apparently if we cover up that trace, and I will just take actually I can just give a close-up on the camera, I guess. But yeah, I've put a little bit of tape over that just to see if that makes a difference. It's a Hail Mary, I guess, but you know, if that don't work, I'll try a different position on it. I still can't explain that black line as well. Well, that's actually covered up half the screen anyway, so yeah. But let's see if it reboots. Oh, hang on. Rip. Damn it. Right, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to leave these powered on. Just real quick, I'm going to leave these powered on. I'm just going to very carefully and as safe as I possibly can, I'm just going to feel for some heat spots on the screen. So, number one, I've got to be careful because I don't want to break the screen. And number two, I don't want to get any kind of an electric shock or anything. So, let's move these speakers out of the way. Ah. Yeah. I can feel it. I feel something here getting warm on the left hand side. Let's just unplug that ribbon. So I've completely disconnected one side of that screen. I mean, we have no display at all now. But is it going to shut off? It doesn't appear to be. I'm going to go and get my thermal camera, I think. But that doesn't appear to be shutting off. Shout me if it shuts off while I go and get my thermal camera, eh? Yeah, that's not shutting off. There's definitely a short on this side of this board here. Okay, so I've got my thermal camera. What I'll do, I'll record the screen. Obviously, I'm not on the PC or anything, so I'm going to have to just record my screen. And obviously, I'll pop it up as I'm talking over it. So, first of all, I'm going to unplug that. And I'm going to reconnect this ribbon. So, it was around there. Hello. Haha. So there's a little transistor just here which is getting hot. That transistor on the second row is probably bad. And maybe if I isolate the second row instead, the second transistor instead, or rather the second trace instead, then maybe it'll work, I don't know. Oh, it doesn't like that, does it? Doesn't like not receiving power there, but let's just have a look and see if it reboots. I just want to get to the bottom of it now, to be honest. The problem is, I can't get that, oh no. Well, I can't get that onto my workbench, that's the problem. And for that reason, I can't desolder that transistor either. Unless I bring my hot air gun into here, which is a bit of a risk. I think I've proved that just by the fact that it doesn't turn off without that ribbon cable plugged in the one side. I think ultimately it has proved that the short is on the screen, which sucks because, yeah, the screen's not worth fixing. So it sucks that I'm going to be losing £165 here because, I mean, I'm not going to lose that much. Eventually I will get my money back because I'll strip the boards down. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot that I can do, is there? It's just one of those things. You take a risk, you buy something faulty, and, you know, just plugging my microphone in because it's dying. You take a risk, you buy something faulty, and sometimes, ultimately, you lose money. I think I've definitively proved that it is the LCD that is faulty. I'm not really comfortable doing a bodge job anyway, to be honest. That's not who I am. You know, I don't do bodge jobs, I don't do half a job. I like to fix things properly, and I think if it is an issue with the LCD itself, I certainly don't have the tools that are going to be able to allow me to fix it. Even if it is on that PCB, I know I fix PCBs on other devices, but the problem is the way that the ribbon cables on those PCBs are attached to the PCB, as far as I know, you need some sort of a special heat press or something like that, I don't know. But you need some sort of a special tool, I think, to be able to desolder those flex cables, those ribbons. And I would never get this on my bench. I'd never get this thing on my bench. That's the problem. And for that reason, it's not going to be fixable for me. It's just too big to go onto my bench, so I can't work on that PCB. I'm not willing to risk bringing my hot air gun into my living room, because I'd either have to work around, you know, my wooden table, you know, my coffee table, or I'd have to work around my sofa, or I'd have to work around my floor. And I'm not willing to damage those things because they're more valuable than the actual screen or the actual TV. So I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to strip it down for as many parts as I can possibly get, including the LEDs behind the screen, and I'm going to just strip it down for parts and try and make some money. And yeah, I think I'll do a quick little update once all of the parts are gone, and I'll let you know if I actually lost money on it and whether I made any profit or whatever. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. I hope you enjoyed it. At least we got to the bottom of it, I think, as far as I can tell. You know, unplugging those ribbons and the backlight stays on, so I think we have definitively proved it. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down in the comments down below. It all helps the algorithm and things like that when people interact and things. If you do want to support me, there'll be some links in the video description. You can check out my Twitch page. I do live stream over there. You can also head over to my online store and buy something from there if you fix electronics. You never know, you might need one of these boards. You never know. Buy one just in case. Or you can just watch another video, because that really does support me, and I really do appreciate it. So that's going to be it for now. I really do, like I said, genuinely appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.